Welcome to the Great Reboot. I'm Tori Ryden. Gyms, Zumba classes, dojos, all kinds of fitness studios. Once COVID hit, they all shut down. Boy, don't we all miss those. Slowly, they're reopening, but with a lot of different parameters in place. They have to keep people pretty far apart. And it's putting a strain on some who really rely on people to be close, dancing closely and physically. But there is one wonderful Zumba instructor who has shifted, and she's learned how to take on a whole bunch of different kinds of people in a lot of different ways. And I think she's even gotten busier during this whole quarantine time, this pandemic. And I want to welcome her to the Great Reboot, Susan Sinnett. She is the owner and the instructor of Studio Fit. And welcome, Susan. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, Susan, your whole history, I love the fact that you were teaching Zumba classes inside an enormous, cavernous roller rink and hundreds of people at a time. I think you mentioned that during one Saturday class, you had as many as 187 people taking your Zumba class. Wow.
Yes, it was great. But I have to say, 30 of them were lacrosse students. So, and they had a blast. It was so fun to watch them dance.
Yeah, but that's a lot of people. And
it is a lot.
With Zumba, anybody who's not familiar with Zumba, boy, it's like the highest energy dance class that you can take. Describe for us a little bit so people have a better understanding of what Zumba is, if you will.
Sure. It's based upon the Latin rhythms, salsa, merengue, cha-cha, cumbia, but Zumba is a blend of dance and fitness. So it takes the most fun dance moves and blends it with basic fitness moves. So you're dancing, but you're also randomly, oh, here's a jumping jack. Oh, here's some knee lifts. So it makes working out fun. So at the end of the hour, you can't even believe it's been an hour because you've been dancing like you're at the nightclub, but you're sweating like crazy. So that's the great perfectness of Zumba because it makes working out fun. We call it exercise in disguise.
So you have about how many songs? I mean, if people kind of counted it that way and said, all right, if I can make it through 10 songs, 12 songs of dancing to,
I would say 15. Yeah, 15 or so. Maybe sometimes more. I like to blend them back to back like a club. I don't like to have any pauses in between. So you're really just like dancing at the club.
Yeah, you're just kind of feeding off of one another as well, I would imagine.
The energy in the room is contagious and amazing, truly.
So you were at the, and I love the fact that you were in a roller rink, but then the roller rink shut down.
It did.
So you had to kind of shift then, and you shifted to a ballroom.
Correct.
And how did that work for you? How was that working for you pre-COVID?
Sure. The transition was great for most of the classes because most of the classes we average between 50 and 60 people on an average daily class. Saturdays was the big class. Saturday it became its own event because it was the one time that everyone came together from all the classes during the week. So that was the big hit. Saturday became something that not everyone could attend. We had to take reservations for. So This actually hit right at the time that were making that transition. So in some respects, the people that couldn't make it to Sassy, we call it Sassy Saturday, couldn't make it any longer, now can attend with Zoom. So on that respect, it's been a good thing because now everyone can attend, no matter where you are.
So you just answered my next question, which was what was your shift? And it sounds like you shifted to Zoom. And so in doing that then kind of takes away the in-person when you're able to kind of watch people's form and all of that. How does that all work for you? Because it is so high energy, and how many people do you have to limit the number of people who are doing Zumba with you and on the Zoom?
It depends on your plan. There's different levels of plans for pricing purposes with Zoom, and I actually purchased the plan that allows me to have more people. So I haven't maxed out yet. I maxed out at 500, so we'll see. I haven't reached that yet, but
500 people.
no.
Oh my gosh.
That's what my plan allows. Let's see if I could get there. So we're only, we're not there yet. But
Have you been surprised yet though? Because it seems that if you're opening it up on Zoom,
yeah.
anybody from anywhere around the world could then say, "Oh, I want to be part of that class." And have you been surprised yet by people who are
Surprised and
joining you?
amazed. Yeah, we have people that, I mean, because I've been teaching now for 10 years, and our Studio Fit community is was so close and is so close. We all really look out for each other. We look forward to seeing each other. We look forward to dancing with each other. So there have been folks who have moved away, taken jobs in other states, got married. They live, they're in Moosehead Lake. They're all over. So all these people are now coming back on board saying, I can take your classes again. I'm in Chicago, I'm in Florida, I'm in Minnesota, I'm in Colorado. So it's been a reunion of seeing all of our old friends coming back and dancing with us again. So it brings a tear to my eye because we've been dancing together for 10 years, so we love each other immensely. So it's been wonderful in that respect.
Well, it sounds to me like that shift, though, doing the virtual teaching might be something that actually you could carry on once this is all kind of ended. Once you're back to quote normal, will that be something that you actually carry over with you? Will you?
That is the plan. Absolutely. There will be a learning curve, and I have to say that the first 2 weeks of learning Zoom, I felt like my brain melted every hour, just because, I mean, as you know, Zoom is its own thing. It has its own set of learning curves, and so just trying to figure out the logistics of it all. But now that we've got it figured out, I think certainly folks have said, can you please keep this going? Because there are times that I'm stuck at a work call and I can't leave, or I got the kids at home sick, so many of us have said, we need to really keep this going because, now that the new normal is here, why not benefit in some ways from the things that have been thrown at us? And that will definitely be one of the benefits that we are going to keep. Now, there's no more snow days. We had a situation 3 weeks ago where it snowed, and normally I would have to say, oh, shoot, guys, I have to cancel class. I looked out the window and said, Zoom. So that's been great too.
So have you ultimately tacked on more classes as a result of this? Has that allowed you to do that?
It has, because of the situation. We had just started going to Ballroom Portland. We hadn't even really established our lease. We're just figuring things out with Happy Wheels closing. So I'm not paying rent right now, which is amazing because I already pay the mortgage here. So yes, it's been a great way for my new instructors who were just sort of getting their feet wet teaching. I said, guys, you offer as many classes as you want. So we're now offering free classes 3 times a week for the community members who might have lost their jobs. And now all of our new instructors, we have the noon dance break, which we never could before because the ballroom studio was booked. So yes, we've added, I would say, 10 additional classes just because we can.
I'd love for you to give out your web info right now, if you would.
It is studiofitmaine.com, and Maine is spelled out, state of Maine. So studiofitmaine.com.
You just mentioned people who are out of work that you're offering free classes. I guess I'm wondering, some people are dealing with depression. They're dealing with a sense that they can't control anything, high anxiety and all of that. I'm curious what Zumba does for people, and particularly for the people who are really, really feeling pretty distraught right now. What does Zumba do? How does it help them?
Dance itself and exercise is such a stress reliever. The endorphins that are released through dance and exercise are so helpful for the body and the mind. Cardio in general is really just good for the internal organs and overall health of the body. But in addition to that, it's the community part of saying hello to each other. Good morning. It's so good to see you. I'm so happy you're here. And having that sense of community continuing has, I think, really helped our folks stay healthy, both body and mind, because they know that someone is there caring for them every single day and saying good morning and saying, oh, I'm so happy you're here. Those that means so much to us. It's the virtual hugs that we all need. But so it's amazingly good for the body physically, but also mentally and emotionally is so important. There's been so many studies that have been done, women especially, if they have a sense of community, they really are healthier and happier. It's so important to us to connect.
Yeah, it is. It's that sense of being part of a community. And speaking of that, you had mentioned Sassy Saturdays, that people just clamor to be part of that when you're in person, that class. And I'm wondering, what kind of a bond is it that you build? And is it mostly women? Are there men who are now being part of it? And you had mentioned high school age kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, what do your classes kind of look like?
It is mostly women, and certainly the age range is 90 to 15. Sometimes folks will bring in their 8, 9-year-olds, and they sort of stand back and look at all these women just boogieing down. It's great. Men, women, and age ranges all over the map, size all over the map, because again, it's just, we're there to have fun and to dance, and so there's no judgment. And I know a lot of gyms say that, but really it's a place that people just are there to have fun and exercise and smile. And I've always said like attracts like, and I think that the people 10 years ago, we started with a very small group of people, 3 students, and one of them was my mom. And we just, over the years, I think it's sort of that energy that you send out, and like attracting like. I think our studio has just reached out into the community, and any person that has a good heart and wants to dance all of a sudden feels the call and wants to come join. And the more of those people that join, the more people wanted to join. So it's been this amazing momentum of progress, of kind-hearted, warm, loving people.
And it seems to me that it's kind of a culture of that, and that Zumba really has its own kind of, I don't want to say breed of people. That's not what I mean, but more along, it's definitely a presence.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, I've heard about Zumba cruise ship vacations, yeah, and Zumba, and I'm wondering, hopefully for you that will come back and be restored, and, mm-hmm, and people will feel safe, taking a cruise again. And what is that like? And have you been part of that kind of that part of the movement? The Zumba
yes,
movement?
Convention is absolutely fantastic. That is for instructors only, but the cruise ships are for anyone. But yeah, it's amazing. A huge group of people feeling the same way about something is always fun. And it's because dance is so much fun and exercise is so much fun. And the reason why we do it is from such a good place that when you get those people together, it is life-changing. It can be, to really show all of us that just saying hello to the person next to you in class, it wasn't a part of the culture. I think I grew up in the Reebok step era. We all did and I don't think, nothing against Reebok, but it wasn't the culture then to sort of reach out and say hello. It was like, oh, I need to burn, no pain, no gain, or yeah. So
that was Jane Fonda, by the way.
Yes. And I did that, and I liked it, but I can't say that I loved it. So I think this is just they really have helped us as instructors tap into that need for community and that need to reach out and say hello and be welcoming and be more than just sweating. Because we can sweat if you can run down the street and sweat, but it won't be as much fun.
It seems to me, and I'm just wondering, Susan, if you feel this way too, that, Zumba kind of being that, say hello to one another and being, really part of a community of people, it seems that would have set you up in a really good way as far as, mentally for COVID, because that's, the fact that we need to be checking in on one another and making the phone calls or the Zoom calls and making sure, saying hello and making sure that people are okay.
I very much so. I believe that to be true. It was a mental muscle that we had already practiced and an emotional muscle that we already had. So yes, in these times of trial, I mean, we have folks that come on and just say, I'm really sad today. And we just listen, and we know sometimes maybe you just have to say, I'm sad and I miss my family, and have it be okay to say that. So we do acknowledge and reach out, and I think it's really important. One of the side benefits is everyone now knows everyone's name. When you're in class with someone, not everyone is the best with names, but you see everyone's names all the way across, and now they're starting to realize that's her name, and that's when I know her, and it's sort of increasing the bond threefold, because you're watching women who are maybe better at reaching out, and now you're watching to see how they do that and what they say and how they say it. So it's increasing that sort of, or working that emotional muscle just by being with someone virtually who's really good at it. Because you don't sometimes have that opportunity to learn like that. So it's a whole new learning place. Because we have some folks who never say anything. They're always in the background. You can see them in the participants list, and they won't say anything, but they'll email me after. That meant so much to me to hear that, or I really loved listening to that. They may not have the courage in that moment to say if they really are feeling it and they're really enjoying it. So it's welcoming even that too.
And it's almost setting things up so it's more intimate, as it turns out. So you're not.
I know they're kitty cats now. Everyone's always grabbing their doggies and the kitties and say, look, here's my cat. Here's my favorite plant. Here's my, we couldn't do that before.
Yeah, you're getting to know the people in your class in a whole different way.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. So from here, I mean, are you going to go back? I mean, do you feel confident that you'll want to still have your studio fit in a location, or are you even kind of trying to figure that out?
That is the question of the hour. We talk about that often with our instructors and students, is saying we know there's some that won't be comfortable for any time soon. Some folks were chomping at the bit, obviously, but I don't think that's the majority right now. I think people are still very careful and cautious, and they, having this sort of bridge from the past to our unknown future, the Zoom classes, I think is allowing them that space to sit back and reflect and be careful. And so I'm not sure. I know that there's some talk about opening things up this summer, but I'm hesitant because I would feel terrible if I opened up my studio and was a hotspot for an outbreak. That would make me feel terrible. And I know the students feel the same way. We're all looking out for each other. So I don't know. We've talked about maybe having pop-up classes for the summer in person at parks, or even in the mall parking lot, because no one's going to the mall. Some folks have said, well, let's just go to a parking lot or someplace like that, so we can say hello to each other, socially distance, and have class. So to answer your question, really, yeah, we don't know yet.
What do you say to somebody who's listening to this interview who says, Zumba, wait, that's too advanced for me, and they haven't tried it yet? And what do you say to people who are at the very beginning of even considering doing this? What will it do for them?
Well, I always say that if I'm doing my job right, you can take a Zumba class and have fun the first day and feel a sense of accomplishment the first class. And I take my job very seriously, and I work really hard to make it accessible to everyone. In addition to that, people have said, at Sassy Saturday with 187 people, I couldn't always see your feet. But with Zoom, as a new student, I can always see your feet. So in that respect, it's the perfect time for someone who's never taken a class. You're at home. You don't have the sort of maybe, they're watching me, or maybe they're seeing me. So you can do it in the privacy of your home learn all the moves and you're in the front row every time.
And you don't have to be a super athlete. You don't have to be the most coordinated person in the world.
No.
But you do have to have some enthusiasm.
I think so. Yeah, you need to be able to laugh at yourself and say, geez, I didn't get that, but okay, next time. And I think you need to really enjoy music. I mean, that is part of it.
Yeah.
You don't have to find the beat, but you need to want to hear it, I guess.
Well, in the end, I'm a firm believer in the value and the impact of music. And I think music is just going to save all of us, because you got to turn things off and put on the music, and whatever it makes you do, you got to go with it. It really helps lift the spirits. It's a great thing to do.
I agree.
Yeah. Susan, Sinnett, so nice to have you here on The Great Reboot. And I wish you all the best. I love that your shift has been a really positive one for you. And I'll be really looking forward to seeing, what happens from here. And if that's your choice. But really all the best to you. And thanks for spending some time with us here on The Great Reboot.
Thank you for having me. It's been a wonderful pleasure.